Welcome to Not Entirely Unlike Tea with Christine Collins. Hey there, it's Christine Collins, and I have for you today 3 quick and easy little self-tests that you can do to examine whether or not what you're actually dealing with is procrastination. It is a term that I hear thrown around really, really often, especially amongst entrepreneurs. But I think that this is truly applicable to everybody because we all have certain things that we need to get done or want to get done, and sometimes somewhere along the way, we're just not doing them, and there are a variety of reasons why. But we often talk about this word procrastination, and often it's talked about in a way where there's kind of a lot of shame and self-judgment for not moving forward to the next step. And I would just like to introduce for you some possibilities that are really worth considering, because in considering these 3 little possibilities, you'll be able to truly determine where the issue is and therefore how to actually solve it, instead of just continuously beating up on yourself and feeling crappy because you're not moving forward. So the very first piece that's extremely helpful is to increase self-awareness. And if you do any type of mindfulness practice or meditation or practices in which you are becoming kind of an outside observer of yourself, that will be incredibly useful. Because first of all, this allows you to catch it as early as possible. So a lot of times we'll have the experience where we're scrolling on social media or randomly checking email, and we don't even fully recognize that we're sitting there doing something different than what we had intended on doing when we sat down in the first place. So simply having the awareness is the first step in getting any further with this. Noticing, oh, hey, it looks like I meant to do this other thing, and here I am, cleaning the kitchen again or scrolling on my emails again, instead of stepping into that task that I intended. And once you notice that it's happening, these are the 3 questions that are worth asking yourself to help you ascertain the situation. Number 1 is, did I just need a brain break? And this will often happen when you've already been working on something or working on something else perhaps first. Your brain does require a break every so many minutes where it cannot just stay highly focused and concentrated indefinitely. So if you've completed something or you've been plugging along for a little bit of time, your brain will check out on its own with or without your approval. So that's the first question. Did I just need a break? Was I working for a period of time already, and without even realizing I was doing it, I switched tasks and started checking email, started scrolling on social media, started looking through my calendar, some of those little things that we think will just peek at really quickly and actually can lead to a longer term length of time. Just noticing if you actually needed a break. And if you actually just needed a break, then you have the opportunity now to choose what that will be, whether you'll continue doing the thing, scrolling on email or socials, or decide to get up and have a cup of tea or take a little walk or something, that works for you. So did you just need a brain break? The second question is there an emotional component happening here? So many times, if something comes up in our day that was disturbing, upsetting, or emotional in some form, we may still be carrying some of the baggage of that thing, and it can cause us to be distracted from focus. So let's say an hour ago, you received an email or you talked to someone or something happened that was upsetting, and it doesn't have to be something that's extremely upsetting. It could just be that you had a little interaction with someone and it just didn't feel very good. And what happens next is your brain kind of goes into a mode where it's seeking out comfort and reassurance, and it's trying to kind of reground itself into a sense of greater emotional stability. You may be looking for a quick dopamine hit. So if you're feeling kind of crappy because of something that's happened, or feeling, below the surface upset about something and not really attending to it, you might start scrolling on social media where you can have a quick little nice interaction or get a dopamine hit because a few people have liked your post or whatever that looks like for you. So when we ignore the underlying emotional component, it's very easy to slip into a mode of doing other things because we are naturally seeking out things that feel good. And I would say that there's nothing wrong with that. It's very normal and very natural for us to seek out feeling better. So now that you have that information, now you can make it a conscious choice instead of a subconscious choice where you can now decide, okay, I know I'm feeling a little bit upset. I'm feeling a little bit crappy about whatever the thing was. What do I want to do with that? Can I do some EFT or some tapping, taking a walk or a run or something that does actually create some endorphins and make you feel a little bit better? Can I create something? Sometimes for me, taking 5 or 10 minutes and just, messing around in Canva, provided that you do keep whatever time limit is reasonable for you, that can actually lift your mood and give you that little bit of reassurance and feeling a little bit better so that you can move forward into what you need to do. But continuing to ignore the emotion doesn't really work well because it's still there. So you kind of have to do something to take care of it. Another thing I like to do is I'll do a quick 15-minute hypnosis or I'll do some tapping. And those tools allow me to address the emotional component and start to feel better. And then I can move on with a more cleared head and move into whatever needs to happen next. And then the third question to ask yourself, and this one is really important, and I think we don't ask it of ourselves often enough, and that is, do I actually know what to do next? Do I actually have clarity on what I want to do next or what I need to do next? And also, do I know how to do it? Because sometimes we put a task down that needs to get done, but there's an obstacle there. There may be some piece of information we are missing. There may be education that we are missing. We may not know the exact steps that we actually need to take. We've put something that's like an hour task, and actually it needs to be broken down into little 5-minute or 10-minute tasks so that you can accomplish a certain amount today in this sitting, and then maybe there's more that needs to happen at another time. And this one is a little bit more strategic. So it's understanding the task and whether or not you have the current skill and capacity to do that task. And if the answer is, I just don't have it in me today, it could be because you're tired. It could be because you are waiting on information from someone else, or you need to do some extra research. There's just more that you need to gather before you can actually do that next step. That can certainly cause a delay, and sometimes we're not even aware that that's the actual reason that we aren't moving forward, is because we actually can't. We don't have what we need to move forward. The task is too big. It's beyond our comprehension. We need to ask someone for help, or we need to do some research, some Googling, look on YouTube, whatever it is to get better informed about how to do that next thing. And sometimes it's like not even knowing what is the next thing. So you might need to take a little time to sit down and get strategic about it and list out and break it down into smaller pieces. And sometimes the first step is, what is the task? What do I need in order to do the task? What resources am I missing that I need to fill in those gaps so that I can actually move forward? And certainly, if you are feeling like your brain is just tapped out because you've already been working at things for a period of time, taking that break can be helpful too in giving you a more rejuvenated perspective before you move forward. So step 1 is having the awareness, and then your 3 questions are, 1, did I just need a brain break? And if I did, do I want to take this brain break differently, consciously, more strategically? Is there something else I want to do that I know generally takes, 10 minutes or 15 minutes of time versus something that might get me lost down a rabbit hole for a couple of hours? So you can make that as a conscious choice. 2, am I emotionally distracted by something? And then is there something I can do to take care of that emotion? And if the answer is no, it may be that you just need to stop for that period of time and come back to it when you're feeling better, or use a tool to make yourself feel better. And then 3, having the clarity and the strategy of actually knowing what direction are you going? Do you know how to do it? And is there more information or other resources you need? So I hope you found this to be helpful. And if you are seeking some mindset tools or very easy on-demand support, I do offer a hypnosis membership that includes hypnosis, EFT, yoga nidra, and various other mindset tools. And you can have a look at more information about that in the show notes. It's called the Hypno-Pothecary. And until we connect the next time, I wish you a most magical and creative rest of your day. Thanks for listening. This is Christine Collins at transformcreate.com.